Hi, I'm Jeff with Jakt Gear, and I'm here today to show you how to properly install your Sling-A-Ling magnetic bow sling on your bow. Today I have the Sling-A-Ling Universal Bow Sling Kit, and we're going to install it on this Matthews V3. The cool thing about this kit is it comes with everything you need. It works on all bows, all makes, models. It comes with the bow sling. It has the matching wrist sling. That the magnetic wrist sling has the magnet built into the leather yoke of the wrist sling. And the cool thing about the kit is if you don't shoot with the wrist sling, there's two other mounting options. So you can remove the rubber cover off of the wrist sling, and it exposes a hex head screw and a nylon cap nut. So you can take that off. The tools that are required are a 1/8 inch hex drive and a 3/8 inch bit or nut driver, or a 3/8 inch socket or nut driver. And so if you don't want to shoot with the wrist sling just installs on every bow just like any other wrist sling that's out there. So you just unfasten it on one side, loop it around your riser, around the handle, attach it the same way it came off, go through the outside hole first, through the underside hole, back through the middle hole, and then back up through the outer hole. And so once you put that on there, then you'll just take your stabilizer off. Once you unscrew the stabilizer, you'll have to use, if you use a quick disconnect, you'll have to use whatever size Allen screw to take your quick connect off. It'll slip in behind the quick connect, screw it back in, and then reinstall your stabilizer. If you don't shoot with the wrist sling, all we're going to do is take that magnet off. Once you take the magnet off, we've got all the hardware here to install it directly to the riser. If you want to do the Sling Lock with Riser mounting kit mount, you just need any cutout in your riser that's 1 inch or less in diameter and large enough for a number 10 screw to fit through. And so all you do is use whatever the smallest length screw in the package is that'll work for whatever point you're trying to connect it. For instance, here on this Matthews bow, I'm connecting it to the lower quiver mount hole. I use the 1 inch screw, the 3/4 inch washer, and the nylon cap nut. We use a nylon cap nut. That way you can't over torque your bow and create a crack in your riser. So, but the cool thing with that nylon cap nut is you just want to snug it up and it'll stay locked in place. If you try to over torque it, it'll strip out and you'll need to get another one. So just snug it up and all is good. If you don't want to use the hardware kit or can't use it on your setup, we've got the Velcro strap option. Just open it up. There's a little card in here that's stuck into this pocket. Just pull that card out, slip the magnet in here without the rubber cover, seal it up. Just figure out the best spot to wrap it around your riser. I always just wrap it around. You can trim it off shorter if you want to. I always like to leave it a little bit longer. It's stretchy Velcro, but whenever it locks into place with the magnet in there, there's no noise because the Velcro never comes unattached. The magnet just slides down and we'll lock it right there. Okay, now that we have the sling lock attached to the riser, we're going to install the bow sling. When you open up the package, it just has this little silicone band around it. Just take that off, unroll your bow sling. At the top, there's the little magnetic sleeve that slides up and down. There's a little loop stuck in it. Just pull it out. That's the top of your bow sling. Slide the magnet sleeve down so that it's about 2/3 the way down the sling. Down at the bottom, there's a little diamond knot. See how it just slides up and down? One of the things that we want to do is make sure that when it slides up and down, there's friction on that. So I'm just going to grab the bow sling down here and I'm going to pull it down a little bit like this, and that just creates a little bit more friction. So now you can see it's harder to pull through. So at the top of the bow, we're going to install first. All we're going to do is determine which cutout in your riser that you want to mount it through. By changing the cutout in the riser, it changes the angle of the sling, so you can adjust the way that it carries on your shoulder. But these things are completely adjustable. My best friend is 6'11" with 380 pounds, 4 and 5-year-old little girls use the same sling. So it's completely adjustable and will fit on all bows. So I'm just going to use this little point right here to attach the sling. So at the top, I'm going to take the solid loop. I'm going to start on the quiver side of the bow, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Start on the quiver side, go around the front of the riser, go through the riser, and then I'm just going to pull the sling back through itself, wrap it a second time, pull it back through itself, wrap it a third time, and on that third loop through, if it'll go 3 loops, I'm going to feed it back through itself. Now, there's a lot of bows out there that have a little bit wider riser up here at the top, or have double bars coming down. Some of the Hoyt and some of the Bowtech bows have some double bars that come down. If you have one of those bows, it's the same premise. You're just basically wrapping it around the riser. Hopefully you can get it 3 times, but if not, at least twice, and then you pull it back through itself and just kind of girth hitch it onto itself. And then when you work it around, it pulls it down nice and tight, but by starting on the quiver side of the bow and going around the front, it ends up hanging on the quiver side of the bow, and that's what you want. The next thing that we're going to do is slide the magnet down so that it's tight between where it attaches at the top and where the magnet engages with the sling lock magnet. I like to slide the magnet all the way up in the magnetic sleeve, and that way whenever I grab the bow sling to unattach it or to attach it, I always grab it below, and that keeps it tight. If you grab it up above, it'll work that sleeve down, and you'll end up getting a big bow in your sling like this, and you don't want that. You always want to keep it tight between the top connection point and where the magnets engage. That does a couple of things. A, it keeps it out of your sight picture, and it's always safe and locked away, so it's never in the way of your arrow. The other thing that it does is it just allows gravity to let it fall to the right spot, so you don't have to hunt and peck for where the magnet is. So once again, just keep that so that it's always nice and tight. Next thing we're going to do is attach the bottom of the sling. Remember how I showed you how this just slides up and down? You want to slide it up so that it's about 1.5 inches or 2 inches above the braided part of the sling, the diamond knot is. And then you're just going to take this loop and you're going to determine what cutout in your riser that you want to put it through. Okay. You're just going to feed it through the riser. You're going to wrap it around the riser however many times you need to adjust the length to fit you. I'm going to start with 1 wrap, and on the second wrap, I'm going to take the loop and the little buttonhole that we created below the diamond knot, I'm going to slide that loop through the buttonhole and then button it over the button, just like that. Now, down here at the bottom, see how there's a lot of excess here? That's okay. That's how the bowsling is designed to operate. It keeps all that slack at the bottom. If you don't like that slack, you can go in and either put a piece of paracord sleeve over that or take some serving and serve that up. Just realize that if you do that, you're removing the ability to adjust it on the fly. One of the cool things about this is that if I've got a heavy jacket on, I can always just unbutton it right here, add another loop, or take a loop out to adjust the length overall. So that's the installation. It's nice and secure. It's completely out of the way. I'm going to adjust the length to properly fit me. So first thing I'm going to do is take the bow sling and I'm going to hang it around my neck like a necklace, like this, with the quiver side out. And by doing that, it enables me to then take my elbows and put them up on top of the bow so that I can use it to glass with, and it just creates a rock solid base. If you'll notice though, that the first thing I'm having to do is duck down to look through my binos. That means I need to put more wraps in it to raise the bow sling up. So to do that, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to attach it back here into my stand. I'm going to then grab the diamond knot. I'm going to grab the braided portion of the sling, slide it down. I'm going to unbutton the paracord off of the diamond knot, pull it back through. Now I'm just going to take and I'm going to add another wrap around the riser. And then whenever I finish with that wrap, I'm going to take that loop, stick it back through the braided portion or through that opening. I'm going to pull it over the diamond knot, slide the braided portion back up in place to lock it in place. And now whenever I take it off, that pulled that up so that's right at the right spot for glassing. Now, if you wear a bino harness, the bino harness will always push it out and up, which creates a little bit better shelf out there. So this is actually a little bit low, but I know that whenever I have my bino harness on, it's going to put it in the perfect spot. Now that we have the Bowsling properly installed and fitted, the next thing we're going to do is talk about how to carry it. I always recommend carrying it on your left shoulder for right-handed shooters, your right shoulder for left-handed shooters. Always carry it quiver out. That does a couple of things. It keeps your sights protected under your arm when you move through the brush, but it also keeps the hood of your quiver facing forward. If you flip it around to the other side, the tips of your arrows can get caught in the brush and pop out. And by carrying it on your left shoulder, your bow arm shoulder, it allows you to go shoulder to shot the quickest. So what I do is I reach across with my offhand, I grab my bow sling, I slide it out, grab the handle, rotate it around under my arm, allow my right hand to stay on the sling, and just let it slide down the sling so that it locks in place. This is the fastest way to go shoulder to shot. The other thing that we need to talk about is how to properly install the pack rats. Inside the package, it comes with 2 of our pack rats. The pack rats lock to the nylon webbing in your pack strap. I always attach one on the right side to lock down my hydration bladder hose. Again, I'm right-handed. And on my left shoulder, I attach one of the pack rats to the nylon webbing right up here by my collarbone. And I'll show you exactly how to install those in just a second. But the cool thing about it is you can then just lay your bow sling across your pack rat, lock it in place. That way it never slides off your shoulder. You stay completely hands-free. But if I walk into the deer or elk, I can just pop it loose, rotate it around, lock it, knock it, draw, and shoot in less than 3 seconds. So they're really handy. There's all kinds of other applications that you can use to attach them to your pack, roll up pack straps, everything else. And you can buy those individually in addition to the 2 that come in the universal kits. Now let's talk about the installation of the pack rats themselves. The pack rats are shaped like a little rat. That's why we call them pack rats. Here's the body and here's the tail. There's 2 knots in the tail of the rat. The outer knot's the handle to pop it loose. The middle knot is what actually locks over the nose of the rat to lock it in place. So to install it, all we're going to do is slide it onto the webbing on your pack strap. So I've already got one right here, and you can see how it just feeds onto that webbing. All you do is you slip the nose in. Always slip it in from the outside in. That way, whenever you have the pack rat installed and it pulls over and locks into place, it always pulls against the nose of the rat. If you put it in the other way, your sling can just pop itself out. So just take the pack rat, slide it into the webbing on those little notches there, lock it into place, and it's good to go. So now we've got everything installed, you're good to go. The My Sling-A-Ling Universal Bowsling Kit, if you have any problems or anything with your installation after watching this video, just reach out and give us a call. You can call us at 802-448-2663, or you can send us an email at customerservice@jaktgear.com. Thanks for choosing My Sling-A-Ling. Hope you enjoy our products.